The design of the iPhone SE is nothing to write home about. It's old, but it has a familiarity to it, like a long-lost friend. A quiet but subtle design that lacks the wow of a more modern phone, but an elegance that gives off a certain level of comfort and familiarity. With an average display, average cameras, and an average processor, this phone is built around a nostalgic feeling, a longing to go back to simpler times. And while this may just be a repackaged iPhone 8, let's see if Apple's quietest iPhone ever has aged like fine wine or stinks like curdled milk. Alright, so this is the iPhone SE 2020. This has been a phone that's been long suggested on this channel that I was definitely interested in trying out. This phone is effectively an iPhone 6 on steroids. It's an iPhone 6, iPhone 6s, iPhone 7, iPhone 8, probably closer to an iPhone 8 because it does have the glass back. I've been using this phone now for a day. Obviously, we'll be using it for the week to see what my final thoughts on it, and you can subscribe for that video. This phone is quite interesting because it was released in the very beginning of COVID. I remember this phone coming out as sort of like the most quiet, nuanced, like nobody even cared that it came out.
This is the new iPhone SE 2020.
This iPhone, the brand new iPhone SE, does all of those things for only $399.
The iPhone SE2 is an oddly divisive phone.
The iPhone for every man, the iPhone SE.
And while this was a subtle release, the iPhone SE was an instant cult classic. Part of that was due to the attractive price point, but also because this phone is a serious powerhouse. With an A13 Bionic CPU, a single rear camera that can shoot in portrait mode and 4K at 60 frames per second, this budget phone quickly found a home as one of Apple's best devices and one of Apple's best deals. So one of the super remarkable things about this phone specifically is that since it came out in 2020, it is loaded with a very powerful chip. It still uses the A13 Bionic, and when you're looking at a more budget option, one of the most important things is how long is this phone going to be supported. And since it's using the A13 Bionic, which is the exact same processor that came out with the iPhone 11s, iPhone 11 Pro, iPhone 11 Pro Max, we can expect this phone to get at least another 2 years of support, which is remarkable because this phone cost me less than $100. One of the most remarkable things about this phone is just how cheap it is today. I was able to purchase mine for $92.55, which is remarkably $35 cheaper than I bought the iPhone 10. This phone is still getting updates. That phone stopped getting updates. I think actually this is probably the best budget under $100 iPhone that you should be buying, just because numbers alone, you get 2 more years of support, you buy it for less than $100. And the thing is with iPhones is they don't really go much lower than worth 30 or 40 bucks. So even if this phone were to be worth 30 bucks by the time you're done with it and you want to sell it, you're going to be only losing 70 bucks, and that means you get 2 years of full support while running the latest iOS. The difference between buying it and selling at the end, that difference will be less money than if you were just to pay one payment on an iPhone. So that's one of the sneaky things Apple will do is they'll release some of these really, really good products that will get support for an extremely long time, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, but you can't ever fix anything yourself. So Apple sucks, but also Apple sometimes is kind of good, and this is a good example of them being kind of good. So being able to buy this phone for less than $100 is really good. Obviously, there are some negatives with this phone. The camera is not going to be the greatest camera ever. It can still shoot in video at 4K, and it doesn't do the over-processing and the binning that some of the iPhone 14s and I think the iPhone 15s do it as well. It's not necessarily a better picture. I consider it more of a warm picture, whereas like a Kodak, an old Kodak camera you shoot a photo on, it's like a warm old photo. That's kind of the vibe you get with these. Obviously, you get a screen that's it's okay. The colors are really terrific, but the thing is with that is like, it's a 750p screen, which is effectively, it's a 720p screen. The screen resolution is not good. It's not very high at all. It's a 1334 by 750p resolution. That makes it Retina. Obviously, Apple doesn't make a phone or make a device unless it has a Retina display. But it's like, it's okay. You can see it's an okay screen. I don't have any problems. I don't have any problems reading it. But at the end of the day, it's not gonna be as nice as like a Samsung S24, obviously, or even like an iPhone 15 Pro Max Plus Ultra Deluxe, but it's fine. And that's the thing is that one of the things I'm always looking for in a phone is it good enough, is it cheap, and will it pull me into the device? The iPhone minis, the 12 mini and 13 mini, I think are some of the best phones Apple ever made. I don't think they pull you into the device. Obviously, while I want everybody to find a nice budget device that can work for them, one of the biggest reasons that I do this is because I want people to spend less time on their devices. I think the bigger the screen, the more likely you are to spend a bunch of time on the device. And with the average American spending almost 5 hours every single day on their phone, which after sleeping is 1/3 of their awake life, I think you could probably spend a few less minutes on your device. But this phone in particular, one of the remarkable things about this phone is that you're just gonna get support for so long, which is awesome. And it has Touch ID, which is fine. I don't know. There's an argument to be had for both. I personally like Touch ID a lot. I'm not saying it's necessarily better. I think if somebody says it's better, it's more nuanced than that. There's a different way to open the phone. Like I can unlock the phone while not looking at the device. Whereas if I'm using Face ID, obviously I have to make eye contact with the screen and then it'll sort of unlock it, not necessarily eye contact, but I have to be looking at the phone in order to unlock it. So there's a different way to get in. I'm not saying it's better. I think I like it more sometimes, but also other times when the home button is covered, it's kind of frustrating. It's not perfect. It's a decent way to enter the phone. Another good thing is that it came with 64 gigabytes of onboard storage, which for me is plenty. I pay for iCloud. I've been paying for iCloud forever. I know that I'm going to pay for iCloud until the day I die, and then my kids are gonna have to pay for it until the day they die, and Apple will just always get that monthly recurring revenue from me because I'm stupid. I really enjoyed using it for the day and change that I have been using it. I'm looking forward to using it for even longer. This is the type of phone that I can just continue to use after I'm done with the 1 week challenge. Not that it's a challenge, but the 1 week of using the phone, because it's going to be a very, very good device. And the 1 day and change that I've used it, I haven't noticed any problems with it at all. I like the feel of it. It's a great phone. I obviously, you know, I love these smaller, older iPhones. The iPhone 7, I'm obsessed with the iPhone 6S. You know, I love those phones. And this phone is basically that with an updated processor and the benefit of years and years of support. So if you want to see how that video goes, hit subscribe. I will be posting it in exactly 1 week from the day this video posts. That'll give me more than a week to use the phone, but you know how it is. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next one. This has been Scott with Techno Eclipse. Peace out.